And our next guest this morning is Olexiy Haran, a professor of comparative politics at the University of Kyiv, Mohyla Academy. Sir, always a pleasure to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for the invitation.
All right, this is the third Easter since the beginning of the full-scale invasion of Ukraine by Russia. A lot of people, I think, yesterday, at least on Easter Sunday, were expecting at least some respite. But this they did not receive, especially those in Kharkiv.
Yeah, that's right, because Putin continues his attack. He doesn't account for any holidays or even religious holidays, which are basically for Orthodox Church. You know, that Orthodox Church celebrated Easter on Sunday, but you know he doesn't follow any rules of the war, and Kharkiv is firstly bombarded, Sumy firstly bombarded. So many people now follow the. Many people are evacuating. Actually, I know the family which is leaving Kharkiv for the third time, you know, so they went out, then they returned, secondly, then they left out and they returned, now they're going to do it for the third time. So it's really, it's very tragic, you know.
And also looking at the situation now in multiple cities, because I mean, Kharkiv is not the only city that was targeted. And recently there has been an apparent breakthrough by Moscow's forces after months of stalemate. And Ukrainian forces have withdrawn from the eastern town of Avdiivka, which apparently some say that it marked Russia's biggest victory since the fall of Bakhmut. So how now do you see, how significant is this recent withdrawal? Is this just a regrouping of the forces? How do Ukrainians perceive this?
Well, first of all, you need to understand that Avdiivka is actually 15 kilometers from Donetsk itself. So it was, you know, directly on the front line for many years, because you know that the war started in 2014. So now Russia, yes, managed to capture Avdiivka. And yeah, we had to retreat from this town and several villages on the front line. Why it happened? Because there was delay in supplying weapons to Ukraine. You know, if you don't have, we don't have aviation, we don't have enough missiles and even shells, artillery shells, you know, so there was a huge lack of supply from the West to Ukraine. So Russia used it, you know, and that's why they can try to start offensive again. So actually, we hope that when more Western help will arrive, including from the United States, Ukrainian forces would be able, you know, to stop the aggressor. But there is this, say, 2-3 weeks when we still have, you know, a lack of weapons, and Russia may try. Well, actually, Russia is trying to use this window of opportunity for Russia.
That's right, and many are also worried as the Victory Day approaches in Russia. This is a huge thing for them and a huge thing for the construction of their propaganda. A lot of people are worried that they need some sort of large victory to celebrate on Victory Day. How are people looking at this, and how worried are they in Ukraine?
Yeah, you know, Putin wanted to have a huge victory by May 9, 2022, but he failed. He failed also next year. But last year, but yes, he need more successes, you know, to celebrate it, to sell it to Russian population. Well, this will not be about large city, but they may try, you know, to seize, for example, Chasiv Yar, which is now right on the front line. quite small city, but important strategically. But, we don't know what would happen. You see, yes, Putin needs this, he likes this symbolism, so-called symbolism. So he wants to do it. But the question whether Russia will receive it or not, we don't know. Actually, I think by May 9th, no. But still,
Right.
it's first offensive by Russia, and what Russians are doing, their tactic is very simple: to send more and more and more Russian soldiers. They do not care about the lives of their soldiers. So it's like we call it meat assault. So you mean meat assault. So Putin doesn't care about his own losses. That's the tactic.
Right, and seeing that, let's say, the strategy of Russia is simple here, and like you mentioned, that they send more, quote-unquote, meat to the front line. So in light of this, now recently President Volodymyr Zelensky has been added to Kremlin's wanted list, but what does it really mean for the president to be added on that wanted list, and does it come as a surprise for you? Is it is it a part of a bigger plan? What does it mean, really?
Okay, Russia is doing cynical things during the war. In reality, it means nothing. Nothing. Maybe Russia will use it, as a propaganda in some countries which do not have clear position on the war. I mean, in some countries of the so-called global South. But there's no practical significance of that. On the other side, there is an order of International Criminal Court to detain Putin. And for Putin, it means very real consequences. The consequences, because if he visits some countries, he would be detained. I mean, countries which signed the stature of the Charter of International Criminal Court. So there's no comparison. For Putin, it's real threat. For Zelensky, come on.
It's purely symbolic.
Zelensky is not going to go to Russia or to Belarus.
No, there's certainly no need to go there for Mr. Zelensky whatsoever. All right, well, let's end it there. Thankfully, at least most of Ukraine had a peaceful Easter Sunday, except for those in certain parts of the front lines. But unfortunately, that's the way things go. No respite given by the Russians to the people there on the front lines. Sir, thank you. Always a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you.